This was a triumph. I'm making a note here, huge success. It's hard to overstate my satisfaction. Aperture science. We do what we must.
All right, so this is episode 1 of The Cake is a Lie with me, Johnny525, Adam is SC Sampson, and Tom.
Yep. Doubting Thomas.
Doubting
Hanging
Thomas.
from the balcony.
So this is going to be a weekly gaming news and updates show. Talk about relative events, current releases, and whatever else comes to mind, I imagine.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. It's going to be a short show.
It's going to be a short show.
About 30 minutes-ish. Although this first show might be a little longer since it's the first show.
Since we don't know what we're doing.
Yeah, that also helps.
I guess first topic up is Alienware's statement that next-gen consoles are looking more and more like PCs. So buy PCs.
Yeah, that's pretty much what they were saying. Hey, we've been doing all this stuff for a long time. Buy our PCs that are way overpriced. God, every single comment I saw about this thing on Reddit or even in this article, everyone was just, why would we buy your PCs? They're way overpriced.
Right.
And I don't know. It was just a jab at both Xbox and PlayStation.
Which doesn't really make sense. I don't even know why they'd bring attention like that, considering the PS4 is supposed to be only like $400.
$399.
Yeah, $399
without the camera.
So, but the basic system only $399 compared to a $2,000 Alienware.
Oh yeah, if you were to spend some serious coin on one of those computers, and they're not even, honestly, most of them aren't that great. Like they always talk about, hey, we have the i5 or the i7 and lots of RAM and cool case.
Yeah,
but then it
cool
has.
Case.
Oh, don't forget.
But then it
and
has.
our keyboards change colors.
But then it has a $200 graphics card.
Right.
Don't forget the built-in or the games that are already on there. Whatever you want, right?
Yeah, whatever you want, and you can play things at medium graphics. I mean, it's kind of weird.
Yeah,
it's cheaper to build your own.
Oh yeah, I mean, the computer that we've built. I mean, you spend $1,000 and you get top of line.
Right.
I mean,
yep.
I mean, obviously you might have other parts you would want to add later, like solid states and stuff. But I mean, you're pretty much $1,000, great computer.
Yeah.
Yep.
Their computers, $1,000, crap.
And now they're pointing out, hey, now consoles are almost as good as PCs now.
Oh, the consoles are going to still be better.
For a year.
Well, yeah. Well, until the new stuff comes out. I mean,
right.
if someone was to design a operating system that was strictly for gaming for computers, I mean, sure, that would probably work, but they don't. So
right.
It's not as optimized. It's just the way it is.
I'm happy that we don't have a new console every 3 years anymore.
Yeah,
you know,
it was 8, right? In this last cycle.
Yeah, it's been 7 or 8 years.
8's a little too long.
You think so?
Yeah, well, on average, since the beginning of consoles, about 5 was the norm.
Right.
Since the first NES came out, they've been doing one about every 5 years until the last 8 years for some reason.
Right. Well,
I don't know.
We didn't start getting updates to software updates until the original Xbox, or did those start with 360?
I'm assuming that was 360 because the internet was still pretty scarce.
Right.
Scarce.
You could still connect. You still had online.
Oh yeah, there was still the access, but most people didn't have it.
Yeah, and it was pretty cruddy. I mean, I remember PlayStation. What was it? PlayStation 2 online. Oh god, it was horrific. It was like unplayable almost.
Yeah, GameCube's online was really good.
Oh yeah, that was really easy to hook up with friends too, as far as when you're trying to play like Smash Brothers together. Typing in the paragraph code and then finding out that one of the letters is wrong. It was horrible.
Well, I mean, Nintendo's always been really good about their online play, so they really care about making a great experience.
They have to come out with a new gimmick, okay?
Do they even support online play half the time? I mean, it's like, yeah, you can play as long as you're friends.
No, the newest consoles
especially with like their Game Boys and stuff. Like there was no searching for a game. It was like, hey, if we're friends, we can play online together.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because I know more than 4 people that have a Game Boy Advanced and have this game, and aren't 4.5 years old.
But it's kind of cool as far as how they are, like with the 3DS. how someone with a 3DS can actually play with someone with a new Wii U. As far as like for example, the latest Smash Brothers, you can buy it for the 3DS and buy it for the Wii U, and you can play on the same system.
That tells a lot for the Wii U.
What's that?
They have high quality games apparently.
Not
they can
really.
be played on a kind of handheld. It's kind of weird that they would. I understand. It's a cool
kind of
feature
it's
for
a
that
cool
game.
concept that you can all play on the same
Yeah.
game, despite the difference in system. Especially if some people can't afford a 3D view or whatever yet.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I guess back on topic. I don't know. That was a nice tangent there.
I think that's how the show's going to go, and that's just fine.
Yeah. Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon sold 500,000 copies, which is pretty good for a $15 arcade standalone game.
Yeah. I guess it really far exceeded their expectations.
Oh, yeah. I mean, in an article, they talk about how this works. Why don't we do this more?
Yeah. Some of the reviewers I've been reading and listening to say this is what games need, as far as it's not like the next Epic or like trying to add a little story to an already shitty game or story. Not that the Far Cry 3 was bad, but they said they made it for fun. Like that was it. Like they wanted the player to have fun. It's just ridiculous, and they didn't hide that fact.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of the Walmart philosophy. You make a pretty good game, sell it for not very much money, and people buy a lot of it, and in turn you make lots of money.
Yeah.
I mean...
Well, yeah, but they're making a good product, and they have really good writers, and it targeted a larger audience than they thought.
Yeah, makes sense. Let's see. Oh, yeah, and then Sony had an article about talking about how it's not a decline of consoles, just a decline of a generation. And it was kind of talking about how just the generation of the console, it was too long. They should have come out with a new console sooner, and they were just running out of new things to do with it. I mean, they tapped it out after 4 years. And then it was just they just couldn't make the kind of games we wanted to play, I think.
See, I was actually really surprised that Sony came out and announced the PS4 this year, and as early as they did. I thought we were going to get the announcement next year.
Well, I think the only reason was because they were a year behind on the 360 and PS3, and it really hurt their sales.
Right.
And I think they're just trying to come out before the 360 did, because I think they came out originally. Obviously, the PS1 came out before the Xbox did.
Right.
But then I think the PS2 came out again before the Xbox did, right?
Yep.
Before the 360 or before the first one.
Right.
And then, their sales were way lower than I think they wanted originally.
Well, it's kind of nice though. It took them a while to gain traction, but it seems like PlayStation's kind of found its niche in regards to the gaming. It seems like they've given up kind of on the Japan RPG titles that kind of, or either that or they are evolving them, because those are starting to lose steam.
Yeah.
Oh, lots of
stuff. Those don't sell
you
well
had
over
companies
here.
like BioWare putting out all these RPGs on
Right.
the Xbox first, and then they're going gaga over them. They're winning all
Right.
these awards, and so and not only that, I don't know if you guys noticed, but there's actually fewer titles just unique to the Xbox and the PlayStation. You have Final Fantasy, it happened in 360 going over to the Xbox. You've got Metal Gear going on both systems. You've got I don't know for sure, maybe not Kingdom Hearts, but just
I haven't heard anything about Kingdom Hearts now.
well, they have
Well,
they
they're making
made,
a new
they
one,
made an
right?
announcement,
Yeah.
and there's a teaser trailer, and they think they released it too, but that's
At E3,
yeah,
I think, yeah.
they think they released it too early, but just because the game's not ready yet.
Well, yeah, it was scheduled for like a mid 2014 or even late
Something
2014.
like that.
Well, I mean, I never actually played those. I heard they're good.
Yeah, they are.
Kingdom Hearts?
Yeah, Kingdom Hearts.
No,
I never played them. I, for some reason, just didn't have a console around that time.
No, it's to be honest, it's Disney and kind of Final Fantasy elements, but the gameplay is just what makes the game. The gameplay is incredible. Like, it's
turn-based, right?
No. It's action,
Oh, okay.
full 3D action,
For some reason I
but
thought
there's
it was-
strategy involved, and it was a really, really good formula, and you could switch it up and play a bunch of different ways, and it worked.
Plus, it has the Keyblade.
What?
It had the Keyblade.
Oh yes, yes.
It's always kind of those games always have that signature weapon that they use that becomes really popular.
Yeah.
You know, when they were announcing the box art for BioShock Infinite, they had an interview with I can't think of the director's name right now. Anyways, a lot of people were surprised that he had a guy with a gun on the front page of the cover. You know, when BioShock and BioShock 2 had the Big Daddy and Rapture and everybody's like, well, why are you straying away from this formula? And he's like, well, we did a lot of research on what sells games, and if 19, 20-year-old male goes to the game store wanting to buy a game but not knowing what he wants to buy, he's gonna turn the masculine route and buy a game with the guy with the gun on the cover.
That makes sense.
And I never really thought about it until you guys are talking about Kingdom Hearts, and I've always seen the boxes and I've always heard about them, but you look at that cover and you see a bunch of
Mickey Mouse characters,
Danny character stuff, and
the
a couple
Keyblade
swords, and I'm like, that holds no interest to me. But then you start talking about it and explaining what it is, and I go, I want to check that out.
It's I can't even compare another game to it just because the gameplay is so unique as far as
and that's why it was so popular.
So smooth, and it's challenging. It was a challenging game, especially if they have a bunch of hidden bosses and speaking of the cover of the 20 to 30 something male with the gun, they did a comparison as far as Modern Warfare. They have a guy with a gun on his back. They have Drake's Fortune or Uncharted, guy with a gun on his back.
Yep.
It's just, like you said, it sells.
Yep. It sells.
Gun sells, especially in this day and age. I mean, guns are a huge topic, at least in the last 6 months. So adding guns to anything make people go crazy for some reason.
Yeah.
That's okay.
All right.
The Legacy Collection.
Oh, for Metal Gear Solid?
For Metal Gear Solid, yeah.
Yeah, they're doing I think it's 8 games or something they're releasing on, I don't know if it was PC only or not. I don't remember. I think it's for the PC, because they didn't have any of them for the PC. Do they? Maybe the latest one, but...
I'm not sure, to be honest.
Yeah, it'll probably be on digital download for all consoles, to be honest.
Sure.
I mean, I'm sure that's how it will be, but I mean, it's kind of cool, I guess, that they're redoing them all. I don't know.
It's got to be a decent price, I imagine.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's anything like how Steam does it. Each game will be like $2.99, but I don't know what they didn't have a price point when I read it. So,
did you gents get a chance to see the gameplay footage of the new Metal Gear?
I didn't.
I did. I watched. I was watching E3.
Obviously, gorgeous graphics, but I'm starting to think that it's losing its niche as far as it's open world now.
Okay.
And there's a lot of different tactics it shows him using as far as hiding on the side of a horse when he's actually driving through Afghanistan.
Yeah, something like
on
that,
a horse, and there's different vehicles he can take, and they're showing all the different ways you can sneak into bases now. But watching the combat, I was a little kind of like, I don't want to say disappointed, but not like excited.
Right.
Per se.
I don't know. I don't think stealth games have really been that popular for a long time. The new Hitman was good, right? Did you play the new Hitman?
Yeah.
Was that good?
It was good, but it wasn't necessarily because of the single player aspect. I mean, it let you be creative, which is fine. But what was cool is the players making their own challenges and maps.
Right.
That's what was.
I just don't think stealth games are that popular anymore.
Well, that's the thing, though. It's a lot of it's hiding in plain sight. And not only that, but you already have a huge fan base for Hitman games. It's just like...
That's true. It's
They made their niche.
And they had the successful movie, too, so that kind of helps them.
Well, I don't know how successful it was.
I
liked it, but...
Well, I guess that's true. I'm not sure if you weren't fans of it, if you enjoyed it or not. I've never heard someone be like, Hitman? I didn't want to watch that movie and it was terrible. I haven't heard that. But then again, I don't know if I've actually had a lot of conversations about it.
Usually I hear people go, what's Hitman?
What's Hitman?
Yeah. Yeah, no, they've got their own audience, and I've got friends that are huge into stealth games, are huge into Splinter Cell and Hitman.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I was too,
Metal Gear.
but it's just I'm not anymore. I guess games have just changed.
Yeah.
I feel like, but are they still are heavy into them? Is that what you're saying?
Well,
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're still heavy into them. I mean, like they were irate when the last Splinter Cell came out because it wasn't Splinter Cell.
Well,
I
it
mean,
was kind of a shoot 'em up, wasn't it?
It was
Yeah.
more of a shoot 'em up. It was more.
I can remember watching
Are
you
you
play
talking
it.
about Conviction?
Yeah.
God, I actually like that game.
I
now.
did too. I loved it.
It
But
felt
I've
like a
hated
Bourne
every other
Identity
Splinter
movie.
Man. I've hated every other Splinter Cell up until that one.
Oh, okay.
Um,
I like the elements they used. Well, there's a difference. There's a fine balance between tedious and like pulling off something cool as far as stealthy.
That's the
And
Right.
with I agree with you. A lot of the past Splinter Cell games they were tedious at times.
Well, if you're selling me a game and you tell me you can play it however you want to play it. If you want to go in guns blazing, you can go in guns blazing. If you want to be stealthy and sneak around, you can do that. If you don't want to kill a single enemy the entire game and still win, you can do that. Or if you want to slaughter everybody, if you tell me that, I want it to be true.
That's actually one thing I was angry about in Hitman is, call me bloodthirsty, but you actually lose points when you kill people, even
Right.
if they're bad people.
Really?
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Like, I understand innocent, like, civilians, like, that's
I
understandable.
don't. You're a hitman.
But,
Yeah, but you're only paid for the one job.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I
yeah.
know, but usually it's at all costs. You know,
Right.
finish it however,
If-
and
if-
then just don't leave any traces.
Yeah.
Right.
That's how they do it in movies.
But I was a little kind of angry I couldn't kill other bad guys. It makes you feel like you're being punished for actually wanting to, kill the bad guys.
Right.
But, and there's a lot of people angry about the new Splinter Cell as far as Michael Ironside not doing the
Right.
voice. And
That's
it
disappointing.
looks more like from what they were showing, it looks more of an action. It looks like they're going with the Conviction style of gameplay.
Right. Well, I think it sold well for them, and it's a new audience nowadays. I mean, a lot of the guys that were into the original Splinter Cells we're all getting older, and some of us are shying away from games. Some of us aren't. I think I'm playing more than I've ever played, but I've definitely got buddies that are focusing on school and work and trying to do other things that aren't playing as much. But
Yeah.
it's something you got to have the time to sit down for. Whereas other titles nowadays, Call of Duty and Battlefield, if I've got a half an hour, I can get 2 or 3 matches.
Oh yeah, like if baby's sleeping and I'm like, I could play a game of StarCraft, but I'll probably hit Black Ops because that's going to be 4.5 minutes.
Right.
For a team deathmatch or something.
Right.
I don't have 25 minutes potentially.
Right.
I plus when you're in a match, you don't want to be like, oh, I'm just going to leave. I guess just
Yeah.
GG and leave and lose points. That sounds awesome. Let's see. Microsoft no longer charging developers to patch,
Yeah.
which is really big.
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
And another big deal about that is they didn't tell anybody.
Yeah, they kind of just. I just saw it and I was like, that's interesting.
They didn't tell anybody for like 6 months.
Oh, they are.
They haven't been charging for like 6 months, but they didn't tell anybody. So like the creator of Fez just found out when everybody else in the country finds out that Microsoft is not doing that anymore, and he's like, "Well, I still been paying you guys."
Yeah,
Oh,
what
man.
the hell?
He's pissed.
I didn't
Jerk
realize that.
move.
Yeah, I saw that today right after.
Honestly, I'm not sure how much Steam or PlayStation charges, or if they do it all. I'm not sure what they're. Obviously, I'm sure they don't make that stuff public usually.
I wasn't even aware that Microsoft charged.
Well, I think they charge quite a bit too. So like, if there was a game that had a flaw, they had to like leave it in for a while because they had to
right.
first get on the list. It's a long process already to patch the game for the consoles,
Right.
and then paying for it too is like, is it worth it? Is this small thing gonna be game changing? And that might be why. Maybe it was on purpose, but in the first Borderlands, that one DLC, where you could glitch through the ground and get all the gear without setting off the timer.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if that was a glitch on purpose or not, but that might have been something that they wanted to fix, but wasn't game changing enough to where they cared, and it was just going to cost too much. I don't know. That's kind of stuff where you're wondering why it's still in the game. Of course, it might have been on purpose, but it's a really weird, like almost like a wall glitch. Like it doesn't seem like it would be that on purpose.
Yeah, but Borderlands that's awesome. They're awesome at a DLC.
No, of course, and it could also be the fact that they
be
noticed it and
honest,
they're
I
like,
could-
oh, we'll just leave this in so people can keep farming.
I can see them
farm and
doing
farm
that.
and farm.
Mm-hmm. Well, since
I
we're on the subject of Borderlands, we'll jump right into Microsoft's or Xbox Live's Ultimate Game Sale that started today. Today and today only, which means everybody's going to miss this by the time listen to the show.
Yeah. So if you didn't do
if
this,
you're
sorry.
in the room with us, you can pick up Assassin's Creed 3 for $15, Borderlands 2 for $10, and Far Cry 3 for $20, and Max Payne for $10 today only.
Yeah, but there's other games that are all week.
There are other games that are all
till the 11th.
Week.
Is that what it is?
The 8th.
8th.
The 8th. So you got till.
Those are some pretty. I mean, WWE 13. That's probably definitely worth $14.99.
$15. Crisis for $5. You can't beat that.
No, that's pretty. I mean, those are Steam prices right there. They're definitely following in that philosophy where the game's old. In the summertime, you just kind of have a bunch of sales and.
Yeah, and
push towards certain things.
They've been doing that for a couple years.
Has Xbox been doing that for a while?
Yeah, they have been doing that for a couple years.
I just didn't think it was
summer game sale.
Definitely wasn't. Maybe it wasn't this public. I'm not sure. You had to be on the console to see it. Maybe.
Right. Yeah. Or
I'm
on
mainly
Twitter.
I'm mainly on PC games, so I don't normally see their.
I catch everything on Twitter. Larry Herb puts that stuff out 3:00 in the morning. He's right on it.
Oh.
So.
Are they usually games like that though, or are they like Defense Awakening?
This is one of the best ones that I've seen. I got really excited when I saw Borderlands 2 on there because I made the mistake of trading that in before I was even. I went and bought the season pass for it, downloaded 2 of them, then I went and traded it in for Injustice, and there's 3 DLCs out there that I have just waiting for me that I can't play because I don't have the disc anymore.
There you go.
I'm really excited for that.
And is it obviously you're not getting the disc for these? Is this a digital download?
Digital download, yeah. So I can't sell it again. So that works for me.
Yeah.
Well, you're only paying, $5 or whatever.
Right. So the Black Ops 2 Vengeance map pack came out today for 1,200 Microsoft points, 4 new maps, a new zombie map, and a modified ray gun.
I'm excited. In about 4 months, I'll get it on the PC.
Yeah. Not quite that long.
No, but I made a joke on when I saw the trailer for it for the first time with the release date. And I was like, oh, sweet. This will be fun. I'll be able to play on the PC by the time Ghost comes out. And people were like, no, it'll come out. And I'm like, you must not play on the PC. It's going to be like 2.5 months later. Minimum. Which makes no sense because it's really easy to... Maybe they're still working on porting it over. I'm not really sure how that process works. But
they have a contract with Microsoft. Microsoft pays them.
No, it even comes out later than the PlayStation one normally does.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like they... it's been better for Black Ops 2, but for Modern Warfare 3, literally it was like they would do, the month ones, and they would release them on the PC with like 5 of them in one.
Right.
Yeah, that's really frustrating to get it like 4.5 months later.
Everybody's already
I understand,
playing it.
Which I still hate the fact that they do it exclusively through Xbox first. I mean, it's nice for people to play Xbox. It's just kind of weird.
Right. Well, I mean, they got to go where the money's at. I mean, Microsoft's paying them a big chunk of change to do that, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So,
they have a lot of money already.
True. Black Ops 2,
it's not like they're going to miss it any, but...
I'll admit, I haven't played online Black Ops 2. How's the balancing?
It's really...
it's hit and miss, honestly.
I think it's usually pretty good. I mean... Yeah. I've been playing... I kind of go off and on where I'll play a lot for a week and then I'll play like StarCraft or another game for a week, depending on time, but... I don't know. I think they balance some guns. The Peacekeeper's not too bad. Of course, I play on the PC, so it's a little different for aiming. Just certain guns are more overpowered than they are on the Xbox because hip firing on the Xbox is a little bit harder than with a mouse.
Sure.
You don't have quite the accuracy. So certain guns are more overpowered than other ones, but they fix a lot of the SMGs, so they're not quite so powerful at hip fire range.
They're really following MLG and esports, and if something gets banned by MLG, within a month it's usually patched.
Yeah, they usually nerf it.
In fact, and they're even quicker about it on League Play.
Wow.
In fact, they just removed the foul for League Play.
Really?
Yeah, totally took it out because it's banned in MLG, and they nerfed
I didn't
the
realize
Cap
it was
40s. Yeah, they just
it
banned it.
It wasn't banned originally. Did they just ban it for this last weekend?
They just banned it, I think 2 or 3 weeks ago they banned it.
Okay, just in preparation for the new one.
Sleeper.
Yeah. I actually love... Dude, that's my... When I see someone using an LMG with a target finder... I literally, that's my gun I pull out. Because I'm like, oh, you're going to be a douche. So I'm going to go ahead and pull out my douchey gun.
Yeah.
But I'm going to shoot you from halfway across the map because my gun's 2 bullets from 200 feet away.
Back in the other Call of Duty days, they just called it the fail.
Oh, yeah, the fail. Yeah, the fail.
So it's like, whoa, okay, now
it was
the king of the jungle.
Yeah, well, it's just really powerful. And, I mean, I feel like if they would have just taken out certain attachments for it, maybe it would have been so bad. But just...
Well,
is the target finder banned at MLG, or is that allowed?
No, it's allowed as far
See,
as I know.
feel like if they would have taken that out and you would have had to use iron sights, it might not have been quite so powerful. But it's still a very powerful gun.
It's the fact that guys that have a quick trigger finger can fire it faster than they could if they had the semi-auto attachment on it, and it's only a 2-shot kill.
Yeah,
it's
that's true.
It's incredibly overpowered.
I know it is. I love it.
It's pretty cool
does.
though. I like that way of balancing as far as look at what the pros are doing.
Yeah.
Look what's getting banned and why it's getting banned. I mean, that's a pretty good indicator when you have the best players in the world exploiting, obviously, guns that are unbalanced because
Right.
they want to win. But it's kind of nice to see that they're using that as a basis instead of just kind of, people are complaining.
Yeah, yeah.
All the noobs are complaining.
Yeah, they don't care about complaints.
On
at
the
all.
topic of Black Ops 2, were you disappointed that they weren't going to add any more guns?
I haven't heard that officially.
Well, what they said was they didn't have enough memory.
Really?
That's the limitation of the current consoles. They don't have enough RAM to add more. Like they added some camos because they had, I guess, enough RAM for
Right.
that, but they didn't have enough RAM. I'm assuming it's while you're playing to have the option to have another gun in there
Right.
for the visuals.
Sure.
And that's been the limitation for a lot of console games, which has in turn made PC games be very limited. So I think
Right.
that's kind of why that's why I said the 8 years is too long.
Sure.
Just because they want to do stuff, but they can't.
Yeah. It doesn't hurt my feelings. I was so excited that they gave us a new gun.
Yeah, the first time ever.
And and I can't put it down.
I know.
can't put
I
the
always see that in your videos. You're always
try.
using it.
And I try going back to the PDW, which was my go-to gun.
Yeah, that was
at first.
That's one of mine too.
And they've nerfed it and adjusted.
What'd they nerf on it?
They nerfed the damage and they adjusted the recoil, so it just climbs now.
Okay, because it was when it first came out. I remember it was a laser dot. Like it was just where you pointed it, fired every bullet, and there was not much deviation.
Yeah, not anymore.
It's
now
not.
it
I mean, the fire rate isn't extremely fast. You know, it's still pretty fast.
I've always been an assault rifle player until Black Ops 2, and I learned real quick that Black Ops 2 is all about speed. Who's faster?
Well, it was kind of like that in Modern Warfare 3, though.
I just didn't figure it out then.
Oh, well, I mean, then again, it was on the PC. Like I said, hip firing is more prominent. I feel like.
Right.
I mean, I think it's extremely more prominent just because your accuracy with the mouse is different.
Right.
So, and a lot of the, when you were pray and spray with the double, what are they called?
Cap 40s?
Yeah, no, well, basically Cap 40s, yeah, but for Modern Warfare 3.
Right.
Like, it was stupid how dumb hip firing was in that game before they nerfed a lot of the guns.
I got everybody's going for diamonds in Black Ops 2, and so every time you get in a match, there's at least like 5 guys running around with nothing but a pistol, and
they're a lot stronger than I was expecting them to be.
God, it's retarded.
Well,
I got pissed off one day, and I was playing with a buddy, and I was like, screw it. I was like, I'm making a pistol class, and I'm going to pistol whip all these little cocksuckers, and I did too. I made a pistol class, and I just ran around, pop, quad feed, fury kills. I went like 36 and 8 or something, and I just started laughing. I was like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, they shouldn't quite. I mean, I understand those. I don't know. The secondaries in Modern Warfare 3 were obviously more powerful because they were you could get an actual submachine gun on the MP9,
Right.
but this is the first game where they've had pistols that I've ever played where they're like 2-shot kills.
Yeah, from 100 yards.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot of bullet drop off.
No,
of course,
no.
for damage. For that game.
That's one thing I really that's one peeve I have with Call of Duty is I want physics. I want bullet drops and I want to lead my targets, and Battlefield gives that to me.
I wish they would meld with. I think they kind of have a little bit in the newest one by actually having not kill streaks, but obviously you control certain towers and you can control the lodestar.
Right.
But I wish they would just combine a little bit. Take some vehicles out of Battlefield 3 and then but add some physics in the Modern Warfare 3. I don't know.
Yeah,
the modern games.
I've said that a million times myself, and it's not going to happen. But because it's people compare them as apples and apples, but they're apples and oranges. Battlefield's a slower paced game. They're larger maps. There's no time limits. I mean, if you get in a good match with a group of guys, you're playing for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
I mean, in one match.
To be honest, it felt a little more stiff and technical, whereas
not as fun.
Modern Warfare is a little more fluid,
right.
and organic.
Yeah, well, Modern Warfare plays at 60 frames per second, and Battlefield's 30.
Well, on the console.
On the console.
On the PC, it's
right,
60.
On the PC, it's 60. On the PC, you can get like 38 players.
No, you can
60?
get 64, I believe.
64.
32
and
versus 32.
I think we can only get 32 on the consoles. But I mean, they're different game types.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh no, yeah, it's completely
And
different.
so-
It's just I play Call of Duty because it's quick, fun.
Yep.
You know, it's the only game on the planet where you're doing really well and you're killing people, and then they make you be more overpowered by giving you something to make you kill them even faster and better.
Right. The better you're killing them, the better you're
it's
gonna
definitely
kill them.
yeah, exactly. It's like I'm already really good. We're gonna give you something that makes you even better. But it's fun to do that.
Yeah, it is.
Unless you're the person on the receiving end, which
Right.
I usually aren't.
No.
But
I'm
unless I'm playing on the console and I'm firing against the ceiling and the ground half the time.
I'm waiting for Ghost to come out and the perk where you get 3 kills in a row and you get to control a camera on top of a dog and attack people.
That sounds terrible.
Well, you saw the gameplay.
Have you seen
saw,
the footage?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I watched all of E3.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing. It looks so fun.
What's amazing is that that's how it is in real life. Those dogs are trained that way. Those dogs have a camera on their back. They have a mic in their ear, or an earpiece in their ear, so their trainer can actually whisper and talk to them and tell them
things.
what to do.
So
obviously not quite with the control as you would have in the game, but
they were showing it off. They showed it on Jimmy Fallon a couple weeks ago, and they mentioned that they had actual Navy SEALs and actual Navy SEAL dogs come in and do the testing, and they've put the same equipment on the dog that they wear in the
I'm
field.
surprised they're showing that on TV. Half the time they're a little reluctant to show that stuff because
I think once it hits a certain age range, once they've used it for 3 or 4 years,
if it's going to be in a game,
okay.
I mean, they might as well talk about it because everyone's going to know about it at that point.
Dog's going to die at the end of the game.
Probably.
Why would you? I have
calling it.
Fun fact: I have never played a single player all the way through of Call of Duty.
Really?
I literally
the first one is worth it.
I literally got to the nuclear explosion phase in Modern Warfare 1.
Yeah.
And it was fun. I enjoyed the whole game to the point of it. I just would rather play multiplayer. It's more satisfying for me.
I played single player in Modern Warfare 1. I had to force myself to play single player in Black Ops. World
Black
at War.
Ops
that
is
was
bad.
Yeah.
I played about 20 minutes of that, and I was like, I'm going to go play the multiplayer.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
As much as I love taking on unlimited armies, not
Yes.
Right.
It's
World at War was really good single player. And then Modern Warfare 2 was pretty good. Modern Warfare 3, I kind of had to force myself. And I've played the first chapter of Black Ops 2. Other than that, I've strictly been online.
I've actually been playing Black Ops 2, trying to beat that. Actually, the past few days, it's I think like games like that, what they're missing is like all the little things, like Modern Warfare 1. Like they have a part where you're sneaking into a house and they cut the power like a real special forces team would, and it's like put on your night vision lasers, and like the bad guys are clueless, and you actually feel like a badass. You've got even though they did it in Modern Warfare 2 where you're firing the cannons from the plane. I mean, that was unheard of
back then.
Before that. And it's all these little things that they put you through, and obviously the big surprises were all new. You're like, oh my god, the guy I'm playing has died.
Right.
Like, that was unheard of. So
Yeah.
I don't know, the first one just had all these elements that were brand new and fresh, and it's gonna be really hard to kind of up that one as far as the single player campaign.
I think they can do it. They've got the the Academy Award-winning writer Traffic.
Oh yeah, writing the
He's
Ghost.
writing a story for Ghost.
I'm sure it'll be fine. I just wish they would. If they don't make a new engine for next year for the next one. I mean, if they're not already making one for the new console, I'm gonna be very disappointed.
Oh, I do have to admit,
no, what they did was it's still the same. It's different, but it's still the same basic model.
Battlefield's got the new engine.
Yes, Battlefield has. They released the game last year, and they already have a new, better engine.
Right.
It's just funny that some developers kind of, I don't really know why. To be honest, it's just the new engines will be more optimized, and you can do more stuff with them. Yeah. I mean, Battlefield 3 and Black Ops 2 are on the same system, and Battlefield 3 looks significantly better. It's just weird that, I don't know.
although a lot of guys who actually watched the E3 playthrough of the single player campaign. Not that single player matters. Most people play Battlefield and the Call of Duty games for the multiplayer.
Right.
I mean, there's no doubt about that. But they actually watched it, and despite all its pretty, graphics and stuff, they said it looked really dead to them. As far as they weren't impressed, as far as it didn't have the same kind of excitement you would see in a Call of Duty or another first-person shooter game, whether it's Halo or anything else. Like, they said it was kind of restrictive, kind of similar to the last Battlefield single-player campaign, which I hear wasn't the greatest.
I think it's going to be a very depressing story. It's not going to be. I mean, not that they're not all depressing stories, but I think this one's going to really tear at a lot of people's hearts, and it's going to be darker and.
Yeah,
So,
I mean,
just
I probably won't play it, to be honest.
I think I will. I'm excited for this one. I'm excited for a campaign in a few years, but I'm excited.
You're referring to the new Battlefield campaign?
What's that?
Are you the new Battlefield campaign?
I haven't seen anything about the new Battlefield campaign. All I've seen is the skyscraper getting torn down in multiplayer.
Yeah,
and that sold me right there.
There's a few. I mean, they have a 15-minute long Battlefield playthrough.
They did that. They released the sections for a Battlefield 3 last year when they were promoting it, and that got me really excited all the way up until they said, "Oh, this is on PC, and everything else is going to be ported, and it's going to look like shit." And I went, "Fuck you guys!"
See, that's the only game where I'm excited that it was actually made for the PC,
right?
Which is unheard of for most games that are on console and on PC. Usually every other game is made for the console and it's ported over shittily to. Like Deadpool,
Right.
To God, that was so frustrating trying to play that game with a keyboard and mouse.
I can't imagine that.
So I know you haven't. I know it's kind of off topic again, but Deadpool on PC, you have the mouse which controls the gun, and then you control the weapon movement with your keyboard hand. So you're trying to move with WASD, and then you use different combos, and then they're like putting buttons like B is the dodge button. Trying to hit B while trying to move and hit E and R to swipe. It's impossible. Literally, I had to change the key to Alt because I couldn't. I have humongous hands.
Right.
It didn't look like, like a PC game though. I mean, even if you took like the new Batman games as far as and put it on PC, it doesn't look very keyboard.
No, all they had to do was change one thing. Make it so 1 was melee and 2 was gun or whatever you want, and then you always use your mouse hand. I know they wanted to be fluent where you can shoot, you can be shooting and then go right into the thing, but hitting 1 and then using the same thing would basically be the same speed. It was literally, that's the only tweak they had to make.
It didn't even become fluid till the end of the game.
Just by a controller.
Even on the controller.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't like aiming on the controller.
It didn't become fluid until you upgraded almost everything as far as you could upgrade it, and then it became fluid. But
I don't know. My left hand was starting to hurt, and I play RTS games, so it was kind of weird.
Yeah.
All right, so Titanfall. I didn't actually read this article.
It's not so much about Titanfall. Titanfall developers were talking about Xbox One's Azure Cloud service the other day, and what really caught my eye was a section they were talking about. Well, Titanfall has no single-player campaign. It's multiplayer.
Oh, really?
They're selling it as a multiplayer game. But if they wanted to go out and purchase 1,000 servers to have dedicated servers for Titanfall, it would cost them hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Oh, yeah.
And as technically they're a startup company, they can't afford to do that. But with Xbox One's or Microsoft's cloud service, that cloud is now going to act as a dedicated server for games. So you'll have no more host advantage or host disadvantage. It's going to free up all the memory and all the capabilities of the Xbox, so the Xbox can focus on the gameplay and the graphics and the controls, where the cloud is worrying about everything else. And that gets me really excited.
Yeah, that's stuff we've been doing on the PC for like 10 years.
Right. But now it's coming to my console.
No, I know. That, which if they would have came out with a new console after 5 years, they probably would have been able to do this.
I hear that there's a chance that this is actually going to come out on PS as well.
It's on all three.
Oh, okay. I just see down here.
Well, maybe it was only Xbox and PC at first.
Yeah.
I don't know why they would
Well, yeah, Titanfall. I think Titanfall is going to be available on all
three.
consoles, but
everything with the Wii U probably.
Specifically,
Yeah,
they're talking
supposedly
about,
it was announced as Xbox, but
Well, they were at the opening ceremony, but then they were also at every other ceremony, which is conveniently why they won every single award they were in.
Anybody else think it just looks like a Lost Planet clone?
I don't know.
really, you think so?
I do.
Did you
Watch
did.
the gameplay?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Really?
yeah.
I definitely
It looked like
like
Lost Planet to me.
the one
I-
thing I really liked about it was the
jetpack?
the jetpack. The jetpack and running against the walls was pretty cool. It actually reminded me of Brinks. I was like, oh god, is this going to be terrible?
No.
I know.
No.
God,
God,
I remember that week before.
Please.
This guy was smart, and he traded his game in after a week. I still have mine. I played like
What?
as far as I could before I wanted to commit suicide.
Yeah. That's...
Anyways, no, it was the mech movement. They actually made the mech movement similar to human movement, which will be nice. They're not going to be just really clunky.
It's going to be nice not to have a slow, clunky.
I also like the fact that you don't get them right away. It's kind of a gift for doing well or surviving. And then I don't know.
Am I wrong? Because I thought they were talking about the single player being actually you're playing a campaign with other players, as far as, or is there just straight up no single?
I didn't
campaign?
hear that. I assumed there was going to be because every game has one. But if honestly, like I said, I've never played any of the single players for most games. If I could just buy a $20 version of multiplayer only for all games, I would. But it's not an option. And I think there's more people like that than you'd think. Maybe. So maybe they're like, why don't we focus everything on multiplayer, or where the majority of people are going to be spending their time anyways. You play it once through, unless there's a hard difficulty like on Halo, you don't play it again.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, it's true. Although, you got games, of course, they have lots of money. Call of Duty, where they manage to make decent single-player campaigns most of the time. And then
yeah, but how much money do they spend on that? And it's decent. I mean, Christ, Modern Warfare 3 had a large-name actor playing one of the guys, the guy from Batman. He plays the bank guy.
Oh, they've got
Plays the blind guy in Contact.
I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure every Modern Warfare and even Black Ops has had some kind of famous
Yeah, but
actor.
he's very famous. I mean, he's in... I don't know. I mean, the other guys are famous too, but I don't know. Maybe he was just more famous because he's...
No, looks like I was wrong.
So yeah, just single player.
Yeah, and they're being smart about it. I mean, he's honest. He says, we make these single player missions that take up all our focus in the studio and take a huge team 6 months to make, and players run through it in 8 minutes. And how many people finish single player games? We were just talking about that. Like,
Yeah,
I've only played the first chapter.
I totally
of Black
agree
Ops
with what you're
2.
saying.
So, I mean, they're going to focus on what the core audience is going to focus on.
Focus on an 8-hour playthrough, or someone playing... I played Black Ops 2 for 190 hours, probably. I think that's what Steam says. And I haven't even played it that much comparatively to... Like, I literally didn't play it for, 4 months straight. Like, there's a huge part of time... You just pour way more time in multiplayer, so why not pour the money there?
Right.
I think it just makes more sense. Unless it's a game like Batman, where it is a single player game. They don't even... Does it even have multiplayer at all?
No.
I think they just have leaderboards for the different challenges and what have
Like
you.
how fast you can go through levels and stuff.
Or how your combo multipliers and stuff like that.
And then, games like Assassin's Creed that are mainly single player, and then they've added multiplayer maybe to stay relevant. I'm not really sure, but...
I just think it's added package bonus. Some people... And not only that, but they try to be unique in that it's not like a normal death match. It's just a niche for people who are kind of want to try something different for a while.
I like the concept of it.
Yeah, my biggest
Assassin's
problem
Creed.
with it, though, was the first game that they released with the multiplayer was really short and not very good.
Yeah.
So I haven't played the newest one. It was, I guess it was kind of a sequel to 2.
Okay.
Yeah, where it was basically like they kind of half-assed the single player so they could release a multiplayer.
Yeah.
And that kind of bugged me, but Pat played it quite a bit, so I mean, it got some people's interest. He played it probably 20, 30 hours.
Yeah. It's just a little add-on, and it's different, and to be honest, I'm sure they didn't spend that much time so they can test the waters, see how people react to
that's
it,
definitely
maybe,
true.
Build on that as far as on later projects or something.
Yeah.
I'm just disappointed the new Assassin's Creed's not going to have ship battles.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really? I thought it was.
Excuse me, multiplayer ship
Oh,
battles.
okay.
I apologize.
Yes. Yeah,
okay.
that would.
I was
that
like,
would,
why would they take that away? They,
No, yeah.
it was a pretty
This
big
one,
one. The
yeah, I
last
was gonna
one.
say this one actually focuses on like a lot of the ship battles, which was, in my opinion, the only good thing about Assassin's Creed 3. But at least to me, I really enjoyed it.
PlayStation Plus, Battlefield 3 is free for members. I'm assuming they're doing this. People will download it and then buy all the DLCs.
probably.
Because I'm sure the DLCs aren't included. It didn't say in the article, but
Right. Well, and I mean, the PlayStation Plus they've been doing for about a year now, a little bit longer.
with the incentives.
Right, and I mean it's a good deal. It pays for itself just with your games.
Well, yeah, I mean Battlefield 3 is
but-
still the newest, most relevant Battlefield.
Yeah.
So at least for another 3 months.
And it's still $40 brand new. So
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's a good deal. That's almost worth just. Well, the only downside to the PlayStation Plus is if you let your membership lapse, all the games that you've downloaded for free, you can't play anymore. You have to be a PlayStation Plus member.
Well, to be honest,
play
though, everyone's going to have to be anyways. Like,
right now it's
a perk.
they don't. Right now it's a perk.
Yeah, and
But,
then for the next console,
for the PS4,
but
if you
at least
wanna
it's
play
gonna.
online.
You only have to pay one price for both consoles
Right.
and your PS Vita. That's kind of cool.
That's cool.
I mean, it's at least and it's $10 cheaper, of course, to have it Xbox than it is for Live for a year.
Well,
But
they better fix their online service then.
no, that's why they're charging for it, because they did have to do that. What they were saying is they had to upgrade their infrastructure significantly to match Live, and so now we got to charge for it because that's not how that works.
And then now I'm hearing rumors that Microsoft's bouncing around the idea of not charging you anymore.
Really?
I've heard the rumors, but there hasn't been.
So that's
any,
how they get. That's their saving grace.
That's how they're gonna get some of the fans
because
back
that's how they're
after
going to
the-
win back the.
I
the rest
know
of the fans
they
that they lost.
racial slur reneged their their DRM policy and
Microsoft
stuff.
180.
But
yeah.
Most people like me, I don't have either one. If I was going to get one, just kind of be a Blu-ray player / media center, I would almost just get a PlayStation. Even though I don't like Sony, I would almost just get a PlayStation just because of how dumb they seem to be being a little bit sometimes.
That's all my PlayStation is right now.
Oh yeah,
Blu-ray player.
well, because it's literally the best Blu-ray player you can buy.
Yes, it is.
That's about. I mean,
So,
it's a $200.
but,
What are they? $200 right now?
I've been.
so.
$199. Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
that's about the price of any decent Blu-ray player
Right.
that has the online features like
Right.
Netflix and stuff. So why not?
I've yet to actually do the research, but I've just been reading as far as comparing the specs of the
They're exactly the same.
Exactly the same.
One subtle little difference is I think it's the graphics card on the PlayStation is 2 generations newer. It's like
they're both AMD, so
right,
I figured they'd be the
AMD.
same.
It's something like Microsoft's running the AMD NVIDIA 3 and PS4 is going to run the AMD
it's something-
NVIDIA 5.
It's something that isn't in the PC market, so I wouldn't know what that means. But
yeah, I have no idea what it means either. That's the
It's
only
the RAM
difference,
and
though.
everything.
yeah, they both have
Yeah.
8 gigs of RAM, which is I don't know. My PC that I've had for 3 years has 12, so I'm not really sure why they went limiting with that. RAM is cheap as shit,
Yeah.
so I'm not really sure. But I mean, I'm sure obviously it's specific RAM for what they have, so that's more expensive. But I mean, you can get PC 12 gigs of RAM for like $60. That's G-Skill, and that's pretty good brand, and it's 1600 speed. So I don't really understand that, but I'm sure they won't hit the max for that, as they thought they wouldn't for the other consoles. We'll never be able to tap these out. Did you see the PlayStation said that like the first couple of weeks it was released, you'll never max this out. And then the article where he was talking about how it's end of a generation, like after about 3 years we maxed it out.
Yep.
After about 2 or 3 games that we made, they already maxed it out. It's like,
Yep.
oh yeah, well you're an idiot.
Well,
Yeah.
it just seems like most of those spokesmen don't know what they're talking about.
Well, yeah, but some-
I can only picture the engineers and the designers.
Why would
in the back.
you say that?
What's the guy's name?
Molnix or something?
No, the game analyst, Richard. I can't think of his damn name now. The guy that every year,
Yeah,
last
but
2 years,
You have the Google machine right in
I
front of
know
you.
I do. I can't think of his name though. The last 2 years, he's been like, Call of Duty is going to charge it for multiplayer. I guarantee it, and then everybody freaks out, and
Oh,
and then
I don't
Call
know.
of Duty's like, no, it's not going to happen. It'll never happen. And then this year he's like,
Well, they kind of
he's
are
like, he's like, the
charging for
Xbox
it.
is going to be $3.99 at launch, and the PlayStation is going to be $5.99 at launch. And I just started shaking my head immediately, like, I want your job, because you're wrong, and I know you're wrong. And I turned to my wife and I was like,
they're the same price.
yeah,
You're getting something that you're on the Xbox you're not getting on the PS3.
Yeah.
That's or PS4, which is weird that people don't make that connection. It's like you're getting the thing that you didn't come with the console initially. Why they're the same price? That's only on the Xbox. Which, sure, voice control I guess is cool. I don't know. I don't mean they're going to tie it in the games. I think they already have been, but I don't. It's gimmicky. Does anyone actually care?
Michael Pachter.
Did you guys use the voice command for BioShock?
No.
Oh, okay.
I didn't really like.
Because it's retarded.
I thought it was a little overhyped.
BioShock.
Yeah.
I actually have it for free. It came with my graphics card
Oh.
that I bought, and I haven't that and Crysis 3. I haven't downloaded it yet. I need to. I just
BioShock Infinite?
yeah.
Nice.
Well, what happened? Well, actually, it just started doing it maybe the last 2.5 months, maybe longer than that. How long have I had my new stuff? Last 4 months, where the highest end graphics cards come with like 2 free games.
That's
so you're
awesome.
getting $120 worth of games. You're buying a $350 thing, and you're getting $120 off.
That's awesome.
It's kind of weird. I mean, they're pretty good games too. Like I think they did Tomb Raider for a while. They added Far Cry 3 and Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon, and then like Tomb Raider to one of them. You're like, this is $107 worth of games
That's awesome.
for free. It's kind of weird, but
BioShock Infinite
I don't know
is
if they're doing it
fantastic.
to try to sell. I don't know if they were trying to do it to get, because they're coming out with new ones sometime soon, like new version of the graphics card. So I don't know if they're trying to dump what they had, like they made too many or what. But
Could be.
I mean, I was gonna buy one anyways. It was just a bonus, but I don't know.
Yeah. And then today, it was yesterday or today, Microsoft announced Don Matrick was leaving, and he's going to be the new CEO of Zynga after all his shenanigans with Microsoft after their
Oh, if you're poor,
announcement.
just play something else.
His
Yeah.
middle name's customer service. I Shit.
I mean,
yeah, I'm surprised he
Boy,
stuck
he's
around
not
for
a
E3.
salesman. Why do they keep letting him talk?
I
don't know. What's really funny about it is I mean, I'm not trying to be mean or anything, but consoles in general are for I don't want to say casual because you can still be very hardcore and play consoles, but there's a difference between someone who spends $1,000 on a PC every couple of years and someone who spends $400 on a console. I mean, there's just money involved, and it's way more expensive, and it's more convenient to have a console.
Yeah.
We all have PCs, but not everyone's going to have a top-end PC.
No.
So it's just weird that he would make the comment about, if you don't have the money to have something, do something else. It's like, that's your player base. It makes no sense.
Yeah.
Not saying
Yeah,
they're poor.
they-
I'm just
they do.
saying people that are college students, they're not affording $1,000 computer, so
No.
don't say stuff like that.
No, and they went about the whole thing wrong. I mean, they didn't explain why their policies were the way they were.
Yeah.
I mean, they just said this is the way it's going to be and deal with it. And
Actually-
that was, if they would have explained simple things, like I picked up on it and I understood.
No,
it didn't
yeah,
bother me a bit.
I didn't realize that I was. They didn't say that when you were talking on one of your Road to 100s. I think it was 4 or 3.
3 or 4.
It was right when E3 was going on. You were talking about the cloud computing and all the extra things that were going to go into maybe being able to still be able to sell your games. Just going to be DRM, so you can't sell. I mean, it's the same
Right.
process basically.
Well, they never said you can't sell your games. What they said was that they were going to have select retailers, or they may possibly have select retailers, which would have been GameStop. They're not going to allow GameStop to go out of business.
Oh yeah, of course.
I mean, they were going to put GameFly out of business, but so the way I looked at it, I was like,
they still could have worked with rentals.
no, they said at launch there will not be a rental service available for the Xbox One.
That's really weird.
But they were looking into it.
That's
But
what I said.
at launch, there wouldn't be any.
And it might not have been them. It might have been GameFly not being able to have the infrastructure to support what they needed.
Right, that's true as well. But the way I saw it, I was like, okay, you buy a game, it gets linked to your console, you're connected all the time. You go up to GameStop, you trade in that game. As soon as that's scanned into their system, then it's going to send that signal to Microsoft. Microsoft's going to send that signal to your Xbox, and you can't play
and
that
your
game
game's gone.
anymore.
Yeah.
And okay, fine by me.
Yeah, could you imagine if you
But-
could sell digital downloads? That actually might have been better.
What
But people just didn't understand.
They didn't understand
Actually,
it.
they didn't explain what they were doing very well.
They didn't explain it. And, I mean, that also would have... I mean, they said that you had to install your games, but they never said why. And they were pushing instant change to everything.
Yeah.
And they showed off at E3, and I talked about this in my video. They were playing Forza, and they had a friend pop online that wanted to play around a Killer Instinct.
Just pauses
And
Forza, right?
It starts loading Killer Instinct in the background.
Oh,
so
yeah,
you're
when
still
he's downloading
racing,
it.
and then whenever you're ready to switch, you press your button, and you're instantly in that lobby with them.
Yeah.
There's no load screen waiting. There's no getting off your ass and changing your disc.
Well, yeah, discs are... I mean, in this digital age, like, at my house, I haven't used a DVD. Like, I buy DVDs, and then I instantly copy them and put them on my hard drive, and then I watch them through my Western Digital Live box on my hard drive. Why can't we? I mean, it's like it's weird that that wasn't going to be the case for consoles.
Yeah.
Another issue people were having, problems with was the fact that you couldn't loan games to friends, and yet they had that whole system where you'd have the family plan or whatever, where you'd have the 10 friends. I can't even think of 5 people I'd loan my games to, but that as long as you're not playing it, they could download it on their Xbox and play it on their Xbox as long as you weren't playing it.
Yep, you had your family group, and that got confusing too. A lot of people took that as that was going to be like a timed demo, but it would have been unlimited.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you could have physically shared your disc with one friend on your Xbox Live friends list that you've been friends with for more than 30 days.
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, that was fine with me too. I didn't have any problems with any of the stuff.
I mean,
it's just the way they marketed it.
To be honest, DRMs don't bother me because I play on the PC almost exclusively. Everything's already DRM'd.
Yeah,
you're getting it through Steam. It's on your account. You can't sell it. You can sell your whole account, but you can't do anything else.
I like having my physical copies of stuff. I mean, that's why I've never gotten into digital downloads for music or anything. I like having my CD. I like having my physical copy.
I mean, I would love to buy a physical CD if I could buy one in town.
Oh, I know, right?
Yeah.
But so
that sounds terrible.
I lost my train of thought now.
Sorry. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I totally lost it. It's gone. Oh well.
I don't even know what we're talking about. Anyways, moving on.
Moving on. Releasing